but now it's got a mouthful of boom!
What's going on, everybody? Architect here with my review of Gears of War 5. Again, like always, I like to mention my history with the game so you, the viewer, know what to expect from me, the reviewer. I like to let you guys know what to expect. Has this guy ever played a game before when it comes to Gears of War? Has he, beat the other games? Is he a biased reviewer? What to expect from me as a reviewer? So I'll let you guys know my experience. So I've been playing Gears of War since day one. It's one of my top 5 favorite shooters of all time. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I played them all, even the not so good Judgment game that ultimately led to Epic getting removed from developing the Gears title. I even played Gears Pop. That's much of a Gears of War fanboy I am. I read all the in-game lore, all the in-game comics. I try to get all the collectibles, like all the call tags. So I'm a Gears tryhard, I'm a Gears fanboy, and yes, I would say I'm kind of biased towards the game. Now, there's no addition to Gears of War family will test you as a fan of the game. Why? Because how you personally view this franchise will dictate how you enjoy this game. If you are overly nostalgic, my review might not be something that you like, because if you're nostalgic, me saying this game is a good game or better than previous game might make you feel like this review sucks. And the same goes overall for how you like the game in general. If you're nostalgic, you won't enjoy the game. So starting things off, Gears of War 5 takes place after the events of Gears of War 4. Even though you start the game playing JD is not the main protagonist of this game. Kate is, whom after the first few missions you take control over the remainder of the game. I'll tell you about the gate. I'm a bit biased towards Kate. I love Kate. She's the only Gears character I play as in multiplayer. She's the only character I want to play as in general. Why? 2 things. 1, she's voiced by one of the best voice actors out there, Laura Bailey. 2, the Coalition did a great job writing her and creating Kate as a character. She's a great character. Her character is the best way of passing the torch we have seen in modern games, which is the current trend in a lot of games. A lot of games are trying to pass the torch from the old guard to the new guard to appeal to a new audience and tell newer stories. A lot of people aren't really feeling that. A lot of people don't like the passing the torch that goes on in video games. But Gears does a very good job at doing that. And Mortal Kombat tries to pass the torch when it comes to the old characters to new characters like Cassie, Jackie, Takada, and Kung Jin. Mass Effect tried to pass the torch when it came to passing from Shepard to Ryder. Gears tries that here too with passing the torch from Marcus, Cole, and Barrett to Kate, JD, and Dell. In Gears 4, JD was the original intended torchbearer. He was supposed to be the person who Marcus passed the torch on to, since JD is Marcus' son. But fans didn't really get behind JD as a character. He's kind of boring. He's not really that interesting. He's just Marcus' son. So even as a supporting character in Gears 4, Kate was the one fans got attached to. Kate was the one fans were drawn to. Outside of her being a great character, the lore implications surrounding her got us as fans more interested in her than even just her as a character. She's a phenomenal character, amazingly voice acted, well written. She deserves this game story. She drives this game story, and it's a perfect combination when it comes to her as a character, the lore, and the game itself. Now, Kate isn't the only character in the game. Marcus is still present, Cole, Barrett, Jack, Dell, Clayton, and JD, but we also get a new character, Foz, a douche, stuck up the ass character who by the end of the game will either grow on you or you'll still hate him. Now, none of the named characters are bad, other than still not finding JD interesting. Everybody in this game is done well and is voice acted very well. So what about the story? The story, well, I want to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but the story follows Kate and her mission to find out what her connection to the Locust is, which was touched on and teased in Gears of War 4. There are some good plot twists in this story that will either have you going, oh shit, or I knew it. Or I knew it, something told me this was going to happen, I saw it coming, I told my friends about it, the speculation, I saw this happening. So you're going to have those kind of reactions when it comes to this story. Gears 5 story isn't your typical Gears of War story experience. It plays like any Gears game, yes, but it's a bit more open. So open that the game even has side quests and 2 open world areas to explore. One being a snow-covered mountain, and the other being a desert land called Valskar, which is where the new character Foz is natively from. Unfortunately, these 2 locations are kind of just the same locations, just one being skinned to be snowy tundra and the other being skinned as a desert with lightning storms. I enjoyed the story. It's really good. I'd say it's actually the best story out of all the Gears games. From the voice acting to the writing to the cutscenes, it's an amazing story. It provides great lore, some good twists, and even though it's passing the torch story, it still keeps the old guard around and in your ear and presence enough to where you don't feel like Marcus, Cole, and Baird are background characters or not in the game at all, but you feel like they're just still a part of your squad and your crew without you controlling them. I'll be honest, there isn't anything about this story I complain about, other than experiencing some bugs and glitches. It was a perfect experience, and I can't wait to replay the game some more. I definitely plan on playing a lot of Gears of War 5 campaign. I played it on experienced, so I do plan on doing it again on the hardest setting. I also plan on doing it again just to run through and get collectibles, because it's that replayable. It's that good of a campaign to where I can replay it that many times and then some without feeling like it's getting old or boring. Especially to find collectibles. The game does go beyond just having call tags to pick up. There's other collectibles in the game that provide lore. I love lore, so I do plan on replaying the game to get all those lore collectibles. Before I forget, the game goes beyond just having Jack as some bot that opens doors for you. He has been, throughout the franchise, just that. Marcus will call in Jack. Jack opens the door. That's been Jack throughout the entire franchise. Now Jack is fully a part of your squad. He's fully part of your team. He attacks the enemy. He can be played by other players. He has his own RPG-like menu to even improve his abilities. Abilities that come in handy a lot, and I've used his abilities to basically clutch out a lot of bad situations. Now, they did so much with making Jack a more prominent member of the team that the robot before it just popped up open doors is now yet another great character in the game who you grow to care about. So what about multiplayer? Well, this is where the issues of Gears of War 5 start to become noticeable. I played Gears of War 5 through early access, and during that time, the multiplayer matchmaking wasn't good. So by the time you play Gears of War, it might be ironed out, it might be good, but when I was playing the Gears multiplayer for early access, I often found it, to just be a very glitchy, buggy experience. Often I'd be in lobbies trying to find matches for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just sitting in the lobby without finding a game. Often the lobby would crash, and when I did get into games, the post-game match results would just glitch out entirely and not even work. Matchmaking, the multiplayer was so bad that even though I had played and completed a certain number of matches, the game didn't register those matches as being completed or being done. But that's the under the hood things. What about the multiplayer itself? How does the game play in multiplayer? Well, it's good. It's fun. I enjoy myself. The Coalition did buff rifles to a point to where even a Lancer can drop you without putting that many shots into you. Now, back in the day, it took a minute to down someone with a Lancer. Now it takes nothing to get down with the Lancer. So even though at its core is still Gears of War, at its core is still one of those games where it comes down to Nasher battles, Nasher play, more often than not in this game, the rifles will put a lot of work in, and more fights become long-range, mid-range battles over Nasher battles. Whether that's a good thing is up to you as an individual to decide, but for me personally, it kind of gets annoying when you're trying to just get around a corner and you just get two-shotted down on your ankles. So as for the character roster multiplayer, there are a lot of variety in this game when it comes to the characters to choose between. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean anything, as people will not use those characters. People will only play just a select handful of characters. In my games, almost everybody is playing Emil, Kat, and Sarah Connor, as well as the T-800 on the Locust side. People who don't have those characters just use Marcus and Kate. Locust have more variety in terms of who to play as when they don't own the T-800, so take with that which will. Again, that goes down to you as an individual on who you play as. If you don't want to play as those other characters, then you just won't. But there's a lot of people to choose between. If you want to choose between a lot of characters, there's a huge variety of who to pick between, which in my opinion is a good thing. Overall, Gears 5 is a great game. I love it. The campaign is responsible for the majority of why I love this game, but the multiplayer isn't bad by any means. Is there things that could be better? Yes, obviously. For one, execution needs to be an option for ranked play. There isn't enough game modes in ranked in general. You can only play King of the Hill, TDM, Escalation, and Guardian. And quick play, there needs to be faster replacements in game for quitting players. As well, in general, there should be punishments for people quitting. It's annoying to play with and against bots in quick play or any game mode for that matter. I had a game of quick play Guardian where only me and my friend were on one team and the other team was just 5 players. So it was 5 players against 2 people and 3 bots, which you can guess didn't go very well. Having bots in your team is a terrible thing, and yes, we lost that game because the other team just fed on bots. We also had a game of King of the Hill where the entire enemy team was bots and our team was filled. Yes, an easy win, an easy stat padding. However, that's not fun. No one has fun playing against bots. Yes, again, you can pad your stats in multiplayer, make your KD look all nice and shiny, make your win-loss look all nice and shiny, but it's not fun. Another thing is the hit registration. Because the game does use dedicated servers, that means your ping is a very important thing. Often shots will not register because one person's ping is higher than the other person's ping. With that, often when you fire your weapon, even though through your sights you are aiming at someone, weapons can clip through the cover, and instead of you shooting that person who you see, your bullet hits the wall that you're using as cover. All that can be improved upon at a later date or in a day 1 patch for the full release. Outside of that, multiplayer is fine. Now, I'm giving Gears of War 5 a 9 out of 10. It will be a 10 out of 10, but the issues mentioned before about multiplayer and the bugs I came across the campaign did hurt the score of this game. But even with that, it's still an amazing game. It's still a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I love it. It's the best story experience that the story has ever had when it comes to Gears of War. No, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that memorable villain that Gears 1 through 3 had, General Rom and Cantus, but it does tease a villain that will be present throughout the game's future, that serves as the same purpose as Queen Mara. Whom, even though their presence was late in game, they do enough to make you hate them and anticipate the next game coming up in any future games if that person expands throughout more than just a Gears 6. With all that said, that's been my review for Gears of War 5. Leave any thoughts you have in the comments below. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitch where I do stream daily. I've been Tessa Archangel, the real _ talent of YouTube. I hope you have a good day. Peace out.
Goddamn! Oh, when I said the fun part, I meant fun for the cold train, baby!